Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sky. I am the founder and CEO of Create Your Own Reality Media, where I empower, encourage, and inspire others to create a life that they love. Now, a big part of this for me is definitely self-growth. I feel like after high school, after college, people forget that we're still supposed to keep learning, whether that be through courses, reading, or just from other people as well. Now, reading is definitely a big part of my life. I try to read a lot of self-help books, a lot of business books, a lot of books that just give me knowledge that, of course, I didn't have before, or expand my knowledge on a subject that I could always use a little bit more refreshing in. So the last book I actually read was Breaking Free from Broke. And this book, of course, as the title kind of gives you a little bit of a hint, definitely talks a lot about money. Talks a lot about getting out of debt, just really helping fix that money mindset. This video is going to be pretty short, pretty concise, pretty to the point. I just want to share 5 of the main takeaways that I got from this book. Now, definitely had a lot more than that. I love taking notes anytime I'm reading, in case there's anything I ever want to go back to, anything that really stood out to me that can help me again when I actually need it. These are 5 things that kind of jumped out as I was going through my notes again. So the first takeaway that I want to share with you guys is a budget doesn't limit your freedom, a budget gives you freedom. It's an intentional spending plan that grants you permission to spend. Now, this one was definitely something that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. I feel like I was definitely one of those people that thought that budgeting was really limiting. It, didn't allow you to really spend your money, but it's actually quite the contrary. Budgeting allows you to, of course, save for all of the bills, all the important things that you actually need to pay for, while still allocating money for things that you would like to purchase as well. You can't, of course, make those purchases and be comfortable about it without, of course, having that money put away for the bills, for the things that you truly need it for. The second thing that I took away from this book is that generosity makes you and those around you happier. This one's pretty straightforward, but when it comes to generosity, specifically in the means that they kind of mentioned it in the book, it talks about, being able to give to others, right? So sometimes, especially, when we're younger, we're still trying to build up our money, build up our savings, get rid of any debt that we have. It's a little bit harder to give to others, right? But one of the things they mention is always having a small amount of money to put to the side to actually be able to help others. Of course, it's going to be something that's really small in the beginning. The more money you have put away in savings, the more money you will eventually have to help others and to be able to donate, to be able to give away as well. So this, of course, makes you happier, being able to help others, being able to know that you have the means to help others, but of course also helps the people around you as well, which is pretty incredible. Now, the third takeaway I want to share with you guys is that money is a magnifying glass. It amplifies what you already are. Now, I think this one was really insightful. I never really thought about it like that before. Of course, it kind of just means like what you spend money on is a reflection of who you are, right? So, especially, in the beginning when maybe your career isn't super built up, you don't have too much money to start off, kind of what you spend money on a lot in the beginning is just gonna increase as you get older, right? So say you spend a lot of money on clothes, a lot of money on shopping, when you're younger, any extra money you have usually goes towards that. Once you get more higher up in your career, once you start having more money, it's going to just amplify that same thing, right? So if you have a lot of extra money to spend, all of that money is going to go towards clothes, towards shopping, towards those things that you always spent money on before. So once you have more money, it's just really going to be a magnifying glass as to who you are. It's really going to show you, what it is that you spend a lot of your money on. So kind of going back to that last point as well, if you were somebody that really likes to help others, no matter how much or how little they do have, that's going to be amplified when you have a lot of money as well. So if that's a priority for you, being able to give money to others, no matter how much it is, you're going to see that, of course, when you have a smaller amount of money. And then once you have more money to actually give away, of course, that's going to be amplified for you as well. Now, the fourth takeaway is something that I think is pretty important. So this one is when you're able to think differently, you can act differently. Once you start acting differently, you begin to believe in a different future that is possible. You start to see some light at the end of the tunnel and realize that it's freedom. Now, I think, of course, this is something that is really important. At the end of the day, we're all looking for that financial freedom. We're all looking for that comfortability to get out of debt, to not be broke, to be comfortable in the money that we're making, spending, having in our bank accounts as well. So once we actually take that first step to think differently, the actions will follow. And I think a lot of the time, it's kind of the opposite way around, or at least we think that it is. I feel like sometimes we're like, oh, we just have to get that better job to, of course, start getting more money. Or, oh, we have to, start going to maybe more expensive places, and then we will start manifesting that life that we're after, right? But it actually all starts with that mindset. So if you are just constantly in the mindset of, oh, I'm broke, I don't have any money, then that's going to continue, right? But if you actually change your mindset and tell yourself, oh, you know what? I'm wealthy. Oh, I'm going to get out of this debt. Or, oh, I'm actually debt free. The actions and things in life will start to follow that. So definitely start by thinking differently, and those actions will follow until you get to that point of freedom, which of course is, again, something that we are all looking for. Now, the fifth takeaway, the last one I have for you guys today, is I think my favorite for sure. So this one is when money is no longer an obstacle, we can focus on what really matters and become the people we really want to be. Money then becomes a tool to help you live a life you're proud of. Now, of course, if you guys are new here, living a life you're proud of, living a life of your dreams, living a life that you love, that is something that is incredibly important to me and something that I really want to help all of you achieve as well. So this quote definitely just resonates with me a lot. Kind of going back to that last point as well, if we, might be in a state where we're not in the best financial situation, or maybe we don't have all of the things that we need at that exact moment, then, we tend to think less of ourselves. We tend to think that, we're not good enough or anything along those lines. But especially when it comes to money, right? So once we actually get to that point when money is no longer an obstacle, that comes with that ultimate freedom, right? So you get to do whatever it is that you want to do. And therefore, be that person that you truly are, right? So again, if that means spending a lot of money on clothes, spending a lot of money on shoes, or if that's helping others, donating money, helping out friends, things like that, all of that is really going to be shown once you get to that point. So I think all of these takeaways kind of coincide with each other at the end of the day. It's really about having that mindset of abundance not only when it comes to money, but just about yourself as well, right? Because if you are thinking less of yourself, it's going to be a lot harder for those right things to actually come into your life. You don't want to chase things. You want to have that right energy, that right mindset, so that way those things will actually come to you. If you put yourself in that right mindset and truly believe that those things are here for you, including debt-free, including financial freedom, then you will see those things return in your life. And at that point, you will be able to ultimately live a life that you're proud of. Now, of course, you can do that way before you actually reach that financial freedom as well. And then at that point, that financial freedom will just be that ultimate bonus for you. And that is honestly the real goal. I think so many people have that backwards alone. So I think instead, just focus on creating a life that you're proud of. Again, having that mentality of abundance, having that mentality that it's all here for you. That way, once you achieve that ultimate point, you'll be living a life that you're proud of up to then, and then you'll have that financial freedom. You will have the ability to really truly do whatever it is that makes you happy. So yeah, those are the 5 takeaways that I have from this book. I hope some of those resonated with you guys today. I would say definitely leave your favorite takeaway down in the comments below. I would love to see what resonated with you guys the most. So definitely give this video a thumbs up if you like this content, and please subscribe to my channel as well. Until next time, stay motivated, be inspired, and don't forget to encourage others.